Oh. Oh, wow. You sure this is the destination? They're looking pretty nasty. Whew. I'm gonna stay right here if it's all right with you. Oh, welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. We're talking a D&D video here. My buddy has just taken us to the land of the Overlord. This is the big final conflict battle. God, my hands have all been wrecked climbing up this old ruin. But it reminds me of my favorite scene in Stranger Things, and also we lived this moment in our D&D campaign, and I wanted to describe it and describe why. And the only way that seemed to make sense was here, in the evil lands of the Overlord, where we're about to do the big final battle, because it happened in Stranger Things, and it happened to us, and a thing that occurred in Stranger Things almost exactly happened to us the same way. Kind of. Okay, I think I'm scared. You sure you want to go into battle? Huh? Strong silent type, I guess. Anyway, so I want to describe, first of all, what happened in Stranger Things. This is no spoiler, I don't think. It's for season 4, episode 1. So if you haven't got that far, don't watch this video, I guess. It's a very minor scene, though. It's introducing Eddie, who is running the D&D club, and it's sort of establishing, okay, so they're playing D&D with this crowd, and Eddie is a real, like, taskmaster and a dungeon master. And in a climactic bit of the opening episode for season 4, we are down a player, and so Dustin and Mike and the others, they get Erica, and she comes on board. Now, she's already been established in a few episodes for the previous season, spunky little sister character, Lucas's little sister, and she plays D&D. And in fact, in the first moment when they bring her aboard, now they do this whole, like, okay, we need a new player in the mix. Let's bring her in. And Eddie kind of grills her like, oh yeah? What kind of a player are you? What do you know? And she dresses him down. So she knows her stuff, and it's an awesome scene. But what I love is how the scene resolves itself, because this is exactly what happened to us in our D&D campaign. I'm going to get a little deep into the weeds of Dungeons & Dragons mechanics here, so if you don't know the rule set, maybe watch on if you think you'll enjoy it, but D&D players are really going to love this. In the Stranger Things episode, there is a sequence where they are up against Vecna, the villain in later seasons, and Eddie is rolling around and he's got the characters all in like a bad situation, and our group of friends get together. They have a little dog pile and they're like, right, what are we going to do? We're outnumbered. He's going to kill us. This is the big final climactic battle and we're dead. We can't do it. But Dustin is like, no, to the death. Let's get this guy. All right. Well, they leap in, and there's a bit where it's like, okay, a couple of the players are down. Dustin gets his a chance. Now he uses a die 20, which in Dungeons & Dragons is how you determine whether or not you hit your opponent. And he's like rolling away, and the impression that you get is that he misses. And in fact, Eddie even says, that's a miss! And Dustin's character is down, because I think he and Erica had established they've only got like 12 hit points left each, or together, combined. So, Dustin's out, and it's down to Erica. She grabs a die 20, and she slowly rolls it. And it's like, please, please, if we don't defeat him, we are dead. She rolls the dice, and in slow motion, a 20 shows up, and they all cheer because it means success. They have won. The Vecna will be defeated, and it's how the story plays itself out. Now, that might seem like a very far-fetched bit, like, okay, this is obviously being played for the adventure of the Stranger Things episode. Like, how often does that sort of thing ever occur? It happened to us almost that way, and in almost the same scenario. But I need to get a little deep in the weeds here with Dungeons and Dragons just for a second. So, you roll a die 20 to determine have you hit your opponent. There are factors that go into that, but if you roll well enough, and in the original rules, the time that Stranger Things is set in, and when we were playing, the higher was better. You wanted to get as close to a 20. That was like a maximum score you would hit. And we had, at that time, a set of extra rules that were sort of house rules. A lot of this came from the Dragon magazine. There was this idea of if you rolled a 20, a natural 20 especially, you would get a thing called a critical hit, which would mean you would roll percentage and see how well did your critical hit land on the table. Now, the first 30 or 40% are just double damage. Maybe if you're lucky, you roll higher than that and you get triple damage. Ooh, so your sword that could do maybe 6 or 7 points of damage could now do 18 to 21. Hey, that's pretty good. So a really good land with your critical hit. But further up that list, you got into some weird stuff, like you chopped his arm off, or you skewered him in the eye. And this was also beneficial for us to learn how to play D&D because it actually, the pendulum swung the opposite direction. An enemy could roll a critical hit and could chop off my arm. In fact, that happened to a couple of my characters. Made me very aware of, like, this idea of going into combat with an axe and stuff and cleaving people sounds great and very cover of a Rolling Stone magazine or heavy metal album type of thing, but the reality is you are just as likely to get bits chopped off you as your opponent. So just be aware, there's a danger here. But the critical hit table meant a lot to us. It was like, okay, this is a really worthy addition because it made it so that cinematic moments could occur. Because if you rolled 0-0 on the critical hit table, that was instant death, which you didn't get according to the regular rules. Like, you gotta hack away at the bad guy, no matter how powerful. The more powerful, the more hit points he's got. The more powerful he is, the more you gotta hack away at him. But there are bits in movies that we've seen where the lone arrow kills the villain, or the special attack kills the villain in one go. Like, that is a trope in fantasy stories and science fiction stories, anything that we're into for D&D purposes, that's a trope. And it brought that in. It introduced the idea of, first you got to get a 20, most likely a natural 20, so that's a 5% chance of ever getting that on that die roll. Secondly, now you got to get double zeros. Like, that's a 1 in 100 chance. So we combine those together, what's 1 in 500? Whatever. Like, it's a very rare roll to get. It happened to us. And it happened in the land of the Overlord and against him himself. So, let me set the scene. We are not much different from what you see around me. It's the evil lands, and we've gone through some ruins, and we've pulled ourselves out of some combat situations. We're beleaguered and battle damaged, but we're carrying on because we've got to take on the big bad guy. And lo and behold, out he emerges. And I recall him being this bizarre, twisted, magical creature, mutated by the dark arts. I think he had like this body like a gorilla with bat wings and an octopus head or antennae or something, like just this. The way our DM described him was this bizarre creature of the underworld. It was like, oh God, what is this thing? I'm not sure. We're going to get him. And much like in the Stranger Things scene, we're a little worse for wear, like we've already been up against his forces. One of the players, I'm thinking he was a magic user, wizard character, had darts. Now, darts are, first of all, I don't even know if they're really accurate as a medieval weapon. I mean, it seemed very tacked on, but it was something a magic user could use, I think. I believe they did 1 to 3 points of damage, because you're throwing darts at somebody. I mean, we're not exactly talking in a pub at a bullseye, but even like cool medieval, like built up fantasy darts, they're still darts. They do 1 to 3. Like, that is something pitiful in the damage department. And that's all our guy had. So, with all of his muster, in the climactic scene, this giant, monstrous, mutated, evil lord is coming toward us, and we're all backing up. Oh no! And our wizard guy throws a dart. Roll that die. Natural 20. Just like in Stranger Things. Whoa. Okay. If you do double damage, the guy's going to take maybe 6 points. Ooh. All right, go ahead. Roll the percentage. Double zeros. The dart must have hit him square between the eyes, and he keeled over. And that was weirdly the most satisfying moment for us as young players, and also the most unsatisfying moment for, I guess, our DM, who had this big climactic battle ready to go with our characters and the evil, but no, we wiped him out with a dart and a double zero critical hit. Well, that wasn't much fun. But it was great for us. It was a great moment because we thought, we defeated him immediately. Yeah! And it is one of the ways in which the pen and paper role-playing game defies what you would read in a book, what you would see in a movie or a TV show like Stranger Things, although that scene totally undid that exact argument. It's not something you would ever see happen in a video game. Like, the idea of a complete fluke like that, 1 in 500 chance-ish, to wipe somebody out with both a natural 20 and a double zero, the chances of that are so rare, and with such a feeble little weapon against such a gargantuan giant monster, it was just like, that's something you could never script. If that appeared in a book, or a movie, or a video game, the audience would be like, that's ridiculous. And I thought that until I saw the scene in Stranger Things, and I thought, that's awesome. We lived that exact moment, give or take. She rolled a natural 20 and won the day. We rolled a natural 20, followed by double zeros on the critical hit table, and we won the day. And it was glorious and amazing. So, I wanted to share that because when I saw that scene in Stranger Things, I just thought, that's right, I remember we lived that exact moment. I wanted to share it with you guys too. Now, I guess we're still doing this, aren't we? We're going to go take them on? Okay, well, now I got to figure out how to get across that lava lake thing, river. So, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to see if I can continue on here, but I'm going to leave it there. Until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole. Oh, it's a long way down.